All right. Hi, everybody. We are live. We're going to hit the countdown and then I'm going to check that the stream is running and everything. So let's do that if I can find that. And there we go. Okay, I'm trying to change the title on this thing. What were we going to talk about? We talk about the Duggars allegation, Nikki, Phillipi, and Gabbi Hanna's stuff.
Yeah. There's some juicy tea to spill.
A lot going on. I was surprised because I texted Mel this morning. I mean, earlier this week, and I was just like, do you want to just do true crime? Because it seems like some of the drama or the tea or whatever is like a little stale. And then all this stuff came up. And I don't know if it's just like, hey, Ashley. I don't know if it's like stale because I'm over some of the same topics, or if it's stale because there's like nothing actually going on. I don't know. But hello, everybody. There's Mel.
No, it's literally over the same topic. It is like, especially with the James Charles thing that keeps coming up and up, and we've already talked about it. So it's almost like, why are we? We're gonna continue talking about it? No, he's just an idiot.
Yeah. Yes. To put it blatantly.
Yes, he needs to stop. Like, he's not dipping his toe. He needs to stop drowning himself in this, dumb thing of his. Yeah.
And it's like the same like key players all the time, and even like today in today's stories is going to be another key player that we've talked about before. But I think this is Crafty Mess 14, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
14.
I'm losing track of time.
It is.
Okay, and then let's see. I am working on. So I have my acrylic thing here, and I think I did a video on it over the summer on how to make an acrylic calendar. But then I decided to take it down because I noticed that I don't use it at all. So I'm gonna turn it into an acrylic mood board with like all the flowers that I've been picking and stuff.
Oh.
And it's weird because like all the flowers, I thought, remember like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was like, oh, this is going to be my last batch. But then like new ones keep popping up. And I'm like, okay, they obviously don't bloom at the same time. They kind of like have their cycles. And so I figured I'll just do something cool with this. What are you working on now?
So I've been actually making I've been starting to make this, hold on a second. Let me take it off it's a skirt.
Oh.
At one point early this week, I had it up to here, and it was only like a waistband, and I was like, this is probably inappropriate. I was talking to Tony, this is inappropriate to wear around, right? Because you kind of see everything. And he was like, yeah, keep working on that. Keep adding layers to it. So I'm not done with it. I think I have 2 more rows before I'm going to end it with, a few ruffles. So it's actually going to be a matching skirt and top. And I haven't started on the top yet, so I'm just doing the skirt right now.
Oh, that's cute.
So yeah,
is it going to be for you, or is it going to be?
Yeah,
for...
like it's
okay.
It's going to be for me. And like it's crazy because I started with knitting. Never really think about crocheting, and then I crocheted the first base of a bag, and then it went from there to crocheting like headbands, and now I'm gonna crochet a whole outfit. So it might, hopefully, if it looks good, it might be on my Instagram.
It's
so we'll see.
On our Instagram, finally tries to add stuff. There's a bug in my craft room. Okay,
maybe, but hey, I think I just have to add a few more rows so it doesn't show my bottom.
We're like stockings or something.
Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh, I feel like my sinuses are still draining. And you know how like it's like in the back of your
Really?
throat?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like super gross and I'm just like trying to clear it out, but so
I hate
I
that.
hope you guys are doing good today. It's Friday. I don't know what's going on. I feel like Fridays just come so fast. And maybe it's just because like I'm trying to consume all of this, like the social media stuff, so that I could prepare for Friday, so we have something to talk about. And maybe that's why it always feels fast, because like something new always pops up, and then like I fall into like a rabbit hole of stuff, and then obviously like mom stuff and life stuff too, and it's just like Friday, here it is again. And so I don't know. I can't believe we're in May as well.
Yeah.
Like literally, I was just I still feel like I'm in 2020 for some reason.
And you know how they said, you know how usually when May comes around, they always do the whole like it's gonna be May for JT.
Oh yeah, with Justin Timberlake.
Well, because of his like, you know,
it's gonna be
but
May.
of his like obviously is his like what do you call it? Not indiscretion, but or like his, you know, with the documentary with Britney and everything. People didn't want to use that anymore, so they said they used Britney, and it's like, what did they? One of the meme was like, oh, I forgot what song that song was, but they used one of Britney's. I think it was "Toxic" or it was what's the song that she was in a red completely red like jumpsuit? What was that one?
Oops, I did it again.
Yes. But then one of the lyrics had something about me, right? So they used that lyric as
Oops,
May.
I did it again. I played with your heart.
I think, or
maybe
it's Toxic.
Baby. Cause you know that
maybe
I'm
that's not it. Maybe it's Toxic. You're gonna say the just find what that freak is, because it's gonna drive me crazy. I hate when I do that. It's like, oh, what is it?
Is it work? You better work.
May meme.
Britney's
no, okay. It's just so typically me, but it's just so typically May.
Oh, it's just
So
okay, that's like Oops, I did it again.
And then
and
then also my loneliness is killing May.
May.
So they're using that instead of the JT, because we're done with him. Okay, we're done with him.
Yeah.
I think
is there anything to be done with? Because he's not actually making music or movies, so it's like you can't cancel someone who's not doing anything.
No, but every May, you know, with his it kind of brings it back again. So yeah, no, we're done. It's all Britney now.
It's just so typically May.
Oh, but the newest, and the newest thing about Britney is that she is going to, I believe, testify or something like that in her next hearing. So that's the latest Britney thing.
Yeah, I think it's in June, right?
I'm glad,
in a couple of weeks.
It's in. It's coming up soon for sure. It was in the news. I am so happy for that, because we do want to hear her. You know, this is her life.
Yeah, it's so sad that like, I don't know. Every time I think of like child stars and stuff, and I'm just like, yeah. And then you see like child vloggers, like, oh gosh, like 10 years from now, we're going to see all these child vloggers come out and have their own documentaries about how like it's just ruining their lives.
It's well, for sure, but it's especially you could say that same thing about like YouTube. You know, it's just especially like that. You grow on YouTube, and then all of a sudden you feel comfortable in this like quote unquote, you know, lifestyle that you're so far removed from reality. You know what I mean? Like,
and there's no checks and balances with YouTube either. I just feel like you know, people push the limits with children and just I don't know. I just hope that like, you know, whatever the parents are doing as far as like family vlogging and stuff, that they also save a ton of money for the children on the side so they can get therapy if they need it in the future. You know, it's just,
I think everyone, you know what? Honestly, I think everyone should get to have therapy.
Oh, for
Maybe
sure.
when they're starting to change before anything happens, because I think like if you just have a good mindset growing up and just a healthy one is what I'm saying. Starting young and seeking and just like have someone to talk to besides your parents. I
Mhm.
think maybe that could because sometimes maybe kids feel like a little bit embarrassed talking to the parents, and then they want like a third party person. I don't think it's actually a bad idea to start them young, because then they can realize, hey, if there's a problem, they can reach out for help versus feeling ashamed for feeling some certain way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's also
Because we
unfortunate
don't want
that
it to
it's
be a
not
stigma,
cheap.
right? We want to make sure
Yeah.
that yes, I know that is the sad truth. Like I hate the US healthcare. It's like not cheap at all.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not. I mean, physical healthcare alone is already like super hard to get, let alone like mental healthcare. That's just
It's
insane.
ridiculous. Right, like it's funny because Tony and I were talking about rabies the other day because something about because I wanted to help these feral cats that I hear near his apartment. I was like, oh my gosh, we have to go like like look for them and like feed them so we could get them off the streets. And he was just like, well, what if we get rabies? I was like, well, you could also know there are signs of rabies, but also you could get a shot if you get rabies, right? And then he was like, those are like $3,000 a shot. I'm like, no, it's not, because and then I went to look for it, and it's three. He said a couple thousand, and it's actually 3,000 for a four shot series, but
Oh.
wholesale cost of those stupid shots are $150. I'm like,
Hmm.
mother of freaking! I'm just gonna find someone to wring their neck. It's like, why are we paying arm and leg for shots that should be for like the good of the people?
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a whole nother topic. Don't even get me like on this like rant.
I think we had that conversation like vaguely last week about like healthcare and how like we didn't talk. I think we got off stream and then you and I were kind of like just complaining about it for a little bit.
Yeah. It was you and I that talked
Yeah.
separately.
Yeah.
We do
Yeah.
have conversations off stream, like
Yeah. And then
off
we
the live stream.
forget.
We do have conversations off that, so it's funny.
Well, I mean, I guess if we're gonna talk about mental health, I guess we can talk about the Gabby Hanna stuff first.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I guess Gabby and also Trisha is, they still have their beef going back and forth, and like, Gabby, I have seen, she has always, it's hard to go into the backstory of Trisha and Gabby just because it's such like a long, convoluted like story. There's so many little details and stuff, and honestly, at this point, the timeline is just muddy for me. Like, if you were there, then you knew what happened.
Good
But
thinking.
I guess yeah, the basis of it is that right now, so 2 months ago, Gabby and Trisha, they went on Gabby's podcast to kind of like hash out all of their problems and stuff, and main the main argument that they always had is, were they friends or not? And Trisha,
Right.
I'm gonna call her by the pronoun that she's comfortable with, they them, because she has come out that she's non-binary. So I think I just want to respect that, and it's like it's very hard.
When did they? Yeah, when did they start using that? Because I just heard of that from the I think it was the spill video that they're using that pronoun, but prior to that we didn't use that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was about, I want to say maybe a month and a half ago when she was on the H3 podcast, and she mentioned that, she, before she did make a video about being a transgender male. And like, a lot of people were just like, okay, is she doing this for attention or not? And I think now that she's going through the process of therapy and like figure out her mental health, she has, and also learning more about like, being non-binary and stuff, that she has considered herself to be like gender fluid. And she doesn't mind if you call her by she her, but when you call Trisha by they, them, she feels more validated. And so I think, I think it's important that like, regardless of how complex gender is, I think if someone asks you to call them by something that they're comfortable with, I think we should respect that. Just kind of like me, I don't like it when people call me by I don't like it when people call me by my Vietnamese full name. I like to go by KL just to keep it short and like to the point. And like my full Vietnamese name is like, I reserve that for my family. And so I would expect other people to call me by KL, So it's just that. So, but so Trisha and Gabbi were on their podcast. They were trying to hash out their drama and tried to leave on the good note. And I guess like Gabbi said she felt gaslighted. Trisha, they mentioned that they felt gaslighted as well. And it was just like, it's a lot. And so now Gabbi has came out and said, I do have a lot of opinions about Gabbi as far, I feel like sometimes I do defend Trisha's intentions, but it doesn't get vocalized in the way that it needs to be. And also there's, they were kind of just going through their own mental health stuff. Gabbi, I want to say she's probably going through her mental health stuff too, but the way she currently right now is lashing out and stuff, she's probably going through something more than that, but not like armchair psychology or whatever, but I guess so. Like on her tweets, she mentioned that she has ADHD, and that's the reason why sometimes she lashes out, sometimes she gets angry, sometimes she trolls people on Twitter, sometimes she, gets really offended and sensitive, and
it's weird. It's weird. I actually never.
Go ahead.
It's weird. I never actually kind of associate like ADHD with mental health. I don't know why.
See, that's the thing too, like, because well, I guess it's mental health in the sense that like it's not neurotypical, as in, if I say this, I feel like there's going to be some backlash, but I guess it's a learning disability categorized to some as such, right? And because it is a learning, it is an Achilles heel, so socially it's not accepted, and therefore it can impact you mentally, where you do feel depressed or overwhelmed or anxious, right? So I think there is like a crossover, but like you mentioned, like for me, you're like, I am ADHD, so I don't consider that a mental illness. I do say that hindrance of learning does affect me emotionally, and it created the depression part, which is the mental illness, right? So, but that's me personally. I can't speak for other people, but like categorically, you're, from what you're saying, that it's not neurotypical, like it's not quote unquote normal, right? So she was recently diagnosed with ADHD, and usually when women are diagnosed with ADHD, it happens around age 30, or even when they become mothers, or when life gets too overwhelmed and they're just like, what's going on? I didn't notice how bad mine was until I became a mom, and realized that, oh my gosh, I have to remember diapers, milk, and rash creams, and brushing their teeth, and blah, 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 all this other extra stuff, right? So I can understand the frustration and how overwhelming that can feel. However, there's a difference between that and like being a complete a-hole to people. And I feel like Gabbi has on Twitter many times used it as a crutch,
right? Like, go ahead. You can acknowledge that you have ADHD, but you also don't want to use it as sort of like something you could feel like you could behave a certain way and get away with it, kind of thing. And that's not, because then you're putting other people who have ADHD in such a bad light. It's probably the same thing. It's probably the same thing like how, like, say old crotchety people, like old people are crotchety, right? And mean, like most of them are, right? But there are very sweet ladies of like men and women out there that are very sweet when they get old. Like, I think they're very, very cute, right? But for the majority of it, there are some very mean and crotchety, and you don't want to throw them in that category.
Wait, who uses the term crotchety? I have never heard that before.
It is. There's definitely The thing, yes, I've heard of old and crotchety together.
Really? I've never heard
Totally.
that before. That's
It is.
hilarious.
They're just old and crotchety, and it's almost like, dude, stop. Just because you're old, then you lived a long life, doesn't make you, okay to behave that way. Come on, there's no human decency. You can still be nice to people. Come on, be nice. Pass it on. Be kind.
Yeah, I saw your little coffee cup this morning.
Yeah. It was so cute. It wasn't this morning, it was yesterday. But the Starbucks, the barista, right? Like if he's a guy, it was so nice. Like I didn't actually, after I downed the whole drink, then I saw the message. But he was like super nice, talking to me and everything. And like then I saw the message on my way out, like after I finished it on the drive back. And I was like, oh, something like that is just, it's very uplifting, and it doesn't take much to make someone's day. So be kind, pass it on, be contagious.
Yeah, it is so small. Like it really is
such a small thing.
Small thing. Let's see. I definitely heard that before. Ashley said she heard crotchety before.
See, I'm not the only
never
one.
Heard crotchety before. That's the first time. That's
maybe
hilarious.
you haven't met a lot of old crotchety.
That is very true. That could be very true as well. But yeah, I think that's kind of like, I guess like she's coming out with like a documentary talking about her journey with being diagnosed with ADHD, which is like, fantastic, and more eyeballs and stuff to it. But at the same time, I have this weird pessimism where I feel like she's gonna paint it in a way that it would make her
a victim of
okay, then you said it.
No, do not, please. Like from the more you talk about it, the more I see her as trying to profit from this. And it's like, look, you're not the only one that has ADHD. There's like millions of people out there who have it and can live with it and function very well in society. Like, don't use it as a crutch.
Yeah, I mean, the only ADHD has been there for a while. The new thing is that it's more people are bringing more light to it to women, because it has gone underdiagnosed for so long, and a lot of women struggle with it, and a lot of women get diagnosed with depression instead of ADHD, and that's like the same story with me, is that I got the depression, anxiety as a diagnosis for a long time. And I tried to treat that for like a decade of my life, and that never went away until I started treating the ADHD part. And I'm like, okay, this is definitely the root of everything else, it's
also hereditary. Do you know of family members? Does your mom have ADHD? Or
I definitely think my mom is.
Okay.
But of course, I'm not gonna sit here and diagnose her on my own.
Right.
But I do think my mom is, for sure. We've always had conversations as to why she doesn't want, why it took her so long to get her citizenship and stuff. And she said, I can't study, I can't focus, I can't seem to sit down and be studious. Sense. Yeah, and she'll say things like, I was just not lucky, I was just born dumb, which is really sad for me. She used to say that all the time. She's like, she used to say that all the time. She's like, I'm just not one of those people that were born smart. I've always been born dumb. I don't have the attention span to learn, which is really unfortunate. And I think that is a little side thing of ADHD. With my dad, I don't think it's ADHD as much as I do think they're like, now that I'm getting older and like more into the mental health space and stuff, I can see things in my parents, which makes me more compassionate for them, but at the same time I feel really sad for them as well, and why they behave the way they do. But with my dad, he definitely has a very he's not ADHD, but he has a very hyper focus when he does things.
That's actually a form of ADHD. Did you know that?
Yeah, but he doesn't get distracted as much as
no. There's actually, it's not the distraction, it's hyper focus, meaning there is a hyper focus ADHD. Yeah. When you're super hyper focused on a certain task and you don't let, and you don't really care, or not care, but you just, time passes so quickly when you're doing that. And he could have a slight one if that's the case, There are, it's funny because my last position before this one was in was with children and adults with ADHD called Chad. And I worked with them for about a year, so that's something that I was trying to help promote and everything. But hierarchy is one of the not criteria, but
Yeah.
side thing.
Yeah, and you know, it definitely like shows differently in different people, and you know, good for Gabby Hanna that she got diagnosed, and now, and the thing with like diagnosis and stuff is just like it just tells you what it is. It's not like a cure or anything, like, but it's information. It's good information because now you know, okay, this is the card that I'm dealt with, and now how am I going to play this card, right?
Right.
So
Right.
so now she can get help and therapy and figure out like what's the best way for her to do her work and stuff. Like for me, I used to like craft all day long and neglect like adult responsibilities. But now I've learned to actually use text to speech. So if I have to read contracts and actually get it done, I do text to speech while I craft because I am incapable of reading documents, you know? So, you know, you don't have to medicate on ADHD. You can learn skills to adapt. And it's sad
totally.
and it's sad that our school system is set up in the way that that doesn't understand how children learn. Like I was talking to Angela about the same thing too, because she recently kind of like is going through her own journey. And I was telling her like in high school, like I think I've had it since I was in high school, and it didn't get bad until you know adulthood. But in high school, I used to get in trouble all the time for knitting while listening to the teacher like talk about physics and chemistry, and they're just like, well, you can't. You know, you have to leave class if you're not going to pay attention. But it's like, I am paying attention. I'm just not taking notes because I have to do something with my hands.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So when you think back at those things, you're like, okay, yeah, there's always been signs there. But for Gabby, I'm happy that she figured it out. I'm just a little bit cautious to see what the documentary is going to look like, because if it's going to be me, this is how I'm suffering, me, you have to understand why I'm angry, me, then that's like.
But see, I have a feeling that's going to be the case. Like, you know, I have a feeling that that's what she's going to use it for.
Yeah, and the thing
she
is, like,
seems with her and Trish, it seems very like I definitely don't have her in the positive lights, because I feel like she causes drama, you know, and the fact that she kept saying that, you know, oh, she and Trish are great friends, and Trisha was like, no, we've never been friends, like those kind of things. It just doesn't make me like trust her words, you know. And so I feel like she uses whatever stuff that's happening to her, like, and then twist it to make herself a victim, and I don't like that.
Yeah, and you know the thing with Trisha is like she recently got diagnosed with what's it called? BPD, not bipolar, but oh, what's it called? It's another personality disorder. But so she's going through that journey, and it seems like she's been a lot like even with the whole Gabby thing, she'll say, look, I know that I've done horrible things in my past, and I'm trying to fix that through therapy, and I'm trying, and it's hard when I'm trying, and Gabby is telling me one thing, and I don't believe that that is the case. So also Gabby and Shane kind of had like a thing where they were talking to each other, and I guess Shane told Gabby that like Trisha had an STD, and so Gabby then told Jason Nash, who was dating Trisha.
That is terrible.
So it's like, well, if you are truly someone's friend, you would not disclose that information. You would come to the friend, right? Like if like I was from person A and person A was dating person B is also my friend, I would not even. I don't know. I mean, Shane's a whole nother toxic, right?
No, like shame on Shane for like breaking Trisha's trust and passing that info along. It's not his business to say that. Like, where does he think that like he can have free reign with information that Trisha entrusted him with? Like, what? I mean, he's just a shady character over and over again, and seeing all the stuff about his comeback and everything, I really hope he fails fast and
Is he
just get
actually
him off
really
the
coming
internet.
back, or is it just like rumors?
Rumors, but I don't care what it is. Like I think he needs to get off the internet. I think he's very toxic, and he should just stop. He's just
Yeah.
a bad person overall.
Well, I mean, there's a reason why there's HIPAA law, right? Like, you can't share
Yeah,
medical
and he like
information.
broke.
So, like,
No, he's a terrible person. He needs to like stop.
yeah, I mean, and that makes sense as to why Trisha doesn't like Gabbi. Like, and I would be super offended too if something like that were to happen. If someone went and told my
Yeah.
employee or even the friend that I have these, mental health stuff, it's just like, well, maybe I am open about it, but it doesn't mean that it's your information to disclose.
Yep.
So I don't know. That's kind of like the thing that's going on with Gabbi and Trish. So that's, I guess, on the lighter side of stuff that's been happening this week. And that's light, I guess. But even so, I the whole conversation of like, are we friends or not? Like, Trish was like, you're not my friend. But Gabbi was always like, well, you made me believe that you're my friend. I'm like, how can you?
Wow.
It's like that. Like, I'm pretty dang sure Mel and I are friends. So I'm pretty confident.
100%.
Right? Like
100%.
We're sisters from another misters,
Yep.
which sounds not good either. But we are friends, kindred spirits, all of that, right? So there's no
Totally.
question about it. We won't be on social media questioning it at all. So the fact that they're even arguing if they're friends or not, it goes to show they're not friends. So
Yeah, right. It's
so
it's kind of clear if you're friends or not.
yeah, and Gabbi was like showing Trisha all these texts. She's like, "Look, that one time when you tweeted me, and you just said something really nice. See, that's what made me think that we're friends." I'm like,
God, she is delusional.
Yeah, and it's only
Is
a couple.
Delusional. Oh my god.
Right? It's only a couple of tweets too. So I'm like, so then all of my followers on Instagram are my friends then? Like, that's what I'm thinking.
They are friends, but just not close friends. There is a difference.
I mean, friendly, right?
Friendly, yeah.
Yeah, you could be friendly. You could be acquaintances. I feel like people think acquaintances is a bad thing, but you could be friendly acquaintances, associates, colleagues, peers, cohorts, like whatever the word, but
one of the I used to talk to her quite a bit, but not so much anymore. But she did say something like, if I haven't cried with you as a friend, then you're not a friend. Because it's like the crying in terms of like, that you guys have shared something very intimate, very like, close, that makes you guys bond with each other, then that would be considered friendship, right? But if she hasn't done that with you, then no, then that's not considered friend.
That's like her shady way of telling you, Mel, you're not my friend.
Yeah, right. No. She did say.
I'm kidding.
She did say that because she said that I was invited to her wedding. It was one of her things that, if I haven't cried, if I haven't shed a tear with you, then I wouldn't invite you to the wedding. Is what she said. So thanks, KL. I can be a really good friend. You know what I mean? Like, what the heck? Throw me under the bus there.
I know. I'm kidding. I mean, that's true too, because I mean, to be vulnerable means that's how you be friends with people, right? And I don't know. I think we're finally coming out of this world of like spreading gossip is an actual taboo now. I feel like we're finally getting out of that phase where, because you and I, we talk about the drama and the gossip, but I don't think we actually like gossip about people or like get petty or nasty about it. Does that make sense?
Right.
Like, I guess
it's like because we're sharing information that's already out there, right? But it's between you and I, sort of like girlfriends chatting of what's going on, but also shedding some light and advice, I would say, like really advice to people who are listening to this and giving another different point of view, because the spill channels out there are just sort of reporting it like news, right? But they don't, I mean, sometimes they do give opinions, but for us, we talk about it, we kind of dissect it a little bit. just breaking it down to maybe, maybe there's another point of view that someone wants to see, and just like, let people know that there are more sides to the story, obviously, but also like how, maybe there's another way to approach it, right? Like, I don't know. It's just
yeah, and I also don't think we like add more to the narrative that we've seen. Like, we're not going, oh well, maybe Gabbi must have broken up with so and so, and but like we don't.
We're not
that.
like no.
And we don't relish in that either. Like, we don't relish in other people's pain. We're just like, that's a crappy action and it sucks. And,
but we call people out for their actions.
Yeah, but I don't think we relish in other people's pain or gossip. Because I think like that's what I think of gossip is when you're like, oh, did you know Nancy? She lost her job. Like when they relish in it. And like that's what I feel gossip is like, right? And I don't like that because like at the end of the day, it's like if my fellow peers are failing and I'm up there at the top, then it's like, I don't know, maybe I'm just getting to a point in like my life where I'm just like, it's lonely, like being successful without people to share it with and like genuinely love and
we had talked about this before.
We
had talked about this before. You can have the success, you can have the wealth all that you want, but you can't take it with you after you die. You can't take those gold bricks with you, KL, like that, those kind of things. Like, what you want to do is build upon the relationships you have currently and make it a positive one. Make it like, and the experiences in your life, make it a positive one. Like, like those things you should either be remembered or also take it with you as memory. Like those things are more valuable to someone versus like wealth and gold bricks.
Still working on the gold bricks.
I know you
I will absorb it into my spirit and my soul.
Maybe somehow they can melt it down into powder and then and then you can drink it and then poop it out.
And like I don't know, cast it into like a light ray so that it goes to heaven or I don't know hell. Right. I don't know where I'm ending up at.
Wherever you're gonna be.
But funny. It's just just how, I don't know. We will see how the story goes. I am happy for Trish. They have been doing a lot of work and progress and doing a type of therapy, which I'm very supportive. So good on Trish. Gabbi, I need to see the docuseries.
She needs more work.
I'm gonna have some opinions when that comes out. So but that's the thing is like she's freshly diagnosed, so she has a lot of work to go through. Like I was diagnosed 5-6 years ago, but I didn't actually get real treatment until maybe 2 years ago. So it's
but you're not one like at the time. You're not one after you got diagnosed have to like tell the world you have ADHD and then have to like do a documentary and like this and this. Like you're not capitalizing on all that. Like she is.
Yeah, and even
so ridiculous.
It's still a journey. Like I hope that if she does do this documentary, it's going to be her interviewing other people who's been on the journey longer and other therapists and stuff.
I honestly think that that's not the case. I really think it's all just about her. It's about her. It seems like she's very narcissistic.
So like,
Hello Sparkles. Okay.
Oh, what if you take those gold bricks and turn it into your urn and then put your ashes in there for you to take them? That is like the saddest urn ever.
And also, like for me, on one of my wish, like if I wanted my body to be cremated, right? Like that was the thing because I didn't want any like maggot or feasting on my body, rotting and all that. So I wanted my ash to be cremated. Then I wanted someone to take it to like Paris and spread it. So then if it's gonna be like you turn those gold bricks like the ashes, then I guess the river can get it. Those are minerals too. They can probably, I can see that. They can have the life, the gold, golden life spread to the
gold standards.
Gold standards. So maybe that works. So we'll see. So that's my wishes.
Well, this is like okay, an urn is about like this big, right? If you made an urn out of gold that this big, can you imagine how heavy that would be? And my
Wait,
family
did
would
she
be like,
say
I don't want.
Wait, they actually say to make the urn out of gold or to make
Yeah,
gold into ashes?
no,
Oh,
no,
I read that completely wrong.
yeah, to
And
make
turn
the
it.
urn into.
Then someone's gonna take your urn. Someone's gonna
Well, okay,
steal your
first of all,
urn.
I will get ash abducted,
Yes, dude. Someone's
which
gonna
is
take your
like
urn and then run away with it.
I will be ash napped, which is like really sad.
So sad. They don't even care about your ashes. They can take the urn, dump your ashes out somewhere, like run with it. Like who wants that? You don't want that.
I know, I'd still be ash napped, and then I get dumped in
Yeah.
like a trash can. Like that's not the legacy I want to leave
Right.
behind.
Or like dump in the toilet and flush. Like no one wants that. No.
Yeah.
Ash nap is right.
Wait, no, like I think it's Seattle or in Washington where there's a cemetery garden where the human ashes are like they're in these big pots, and then the ashes in the pots and it helps feed the trees that grow from that pot.
Wow.
So it's called like the Cemetery of Life or something, kind of like the Tree of Life.
That's so cool.
I don't know if it's in Washington or Oregon, but it's like a small little thing, and I think that would be really neat to like live
that's
with a
really
tree.
cool. Yeah, I like that.
But my pot will be made of gold. So there you go.
Again, you can't take it with you, but someone could take your urn. So
good luck on that. Watch them try to run away because it's super heavy.
No, seriously.
All right, so we're at 11:40. We really went.
Man, we just talked a whole. What's next on the list?
Okay, I guess we could talk about Nikki Phillipi instead of the Duggar stuff, because the Duggar stuff is like really dark, and there's more coming out on that, so we can save that for next week. So Nikki stuff. Did you like how much of that do you know? How did you just graze it a little bit, or?
No, I have no clue on the Nikki Phillipi thing.
But you know who she is. You met her a couple of times too, right?
Did I? Oh, I know who she is. Yes, but I think I did. Yes, I did meet her at one of the
Gen Beauty, maybe.
Yeah, Gen Beauty. I don't think I got a good vibe from her though. Like, it's just one of those kind of offhand, like, oh yeah, hi, how are you? Kind of thing. I don't know. Like, she's okay.
Yeah, she. I feel like she jump on trends a lot as far as like YouTube stuff, which is fine because trends work, right? But I think I told you this a couple of years ago when you were visiting. This is when I first had Grudy, and I was telling you, I was like, oh yeah, do you remember Nikki? And it was like a very short conversation, and I was like, yeah, she's thinking about adopting. And you're like, oh, that's really sweet. Yeah. And then and then I think when you left about a month later, she announced that she wasn't gonna adopt anymore because like the adoption agency said that like she couldn't vlog the process. And which is fair because those kids need their privacy. Like you don't want to go into an orphanage and like just vlog every child that's in there, right? Or like your process of selecting a child and their images and stuff, having it be on social media, like that's unsafe for the child and also emotionally unhealthy for the child as well. Knowing that, oh, this lady was going to make me her kid and she was going to be my mommy, but she decided, no, I'm not. Like to see that in the video is like really horrible to me. And I can see why the agency trying to protect the children, right? But so her logic is that like she's no longer adopting because she wasn't able to vlog the process, and she's like, well, that's kind of like my life, and if I can't do that, then I'm not gonna adopt. Which is like
that's kind of stupid excuse. Like then just keep that part about her life.
Yeah.
Why do you have to like publicize everything you do?
Yeah, which is kind of like for me, I'm thinking like, I have friends who are trying to adopt and because of, it's a hard process for them, and
it almost make you question, like, well, what's your reason for adopting in the first place? To show the world that you're a saint? And but now that you're not gonna adopt because you can't publicize that, makes you what? Makes you look like what?
Like a narcissist.
Yeah. No, it doesn't make you look very good.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, it's expensive to go through the whole process of adoption. But I have friends who are going through it, and they're just like constantly being shut down back, and it's like it's so heartbreaking to see that, and then to see someone, get so far into the process and be like, well, if I can't, vlog the child and stuff, it's like, well, I'm not going to do it. I'm like, well, this is not about you. If you really wanted, if I was in her position and I really wanted children, if they said you can't vlog that child if you're going through the adoption process, I'll be like, fine, whatever. I really want my child.
Right. Just keep it out of the vlog. There's such thing as privacy.
Exactly. You can keep them. You can still vlog. Just keep them out. So Ashley says, sounds like she has the mentality of purchasing a kid. No, honey, it doesn't work like that. Exactly.
Right. Right.
But she did get pregnant. Her reasoning to not go through, natural pregnancy before adopting was because, her body was in pain, and it was, and I understand all of that, so that's why she chose adoption. But then the adoption thing didn't work, so she got pregnant, and now she has a healthy, beautiful baby boy. But I think last week they put down their dog of 10, 12 years or something. And their explanation was, so the dog is actually Dan's dog, Bowser. And, and then, they came into the relationship together. And so, the dog ends up being the family dog. And so Dan definitely loved that dog. And he's the breed is like the target dog. Like the bullseye target dog.
Oh, what?
Yeah. I don't see them very often. So they recently put him down, and of course, right before they put him down, they had she had Instagram photos of him saying how much she loves him, and he's such a sweet angel baby, and it's so sad that like he has to go down and stuff, and then their explanation was because he was aggressive towards their son. But like in the video, they kept saying he was aggressive towards our son, but he wasn't that aggressive. But he was also like untrainable, and he was always running out the door, but he was still a good boy. So I'm like, is he a horrible dog, or is he like an angel dog? Like, I couldn't, the video just was like bouncing back and forth a lot. But one of the main explanation was that Bowser went to the park, got attacked one time, and after getting attacked, he kind of like his personality changed a little bit, which is fair. Dogs have PTSD like humans do. And then after that, their son like hit Bowser in the ear really hard, that like his ear swelled up like a cauliflower for like a month or two.
Oh my God.
And then Bowser kind of like, got really agitated of the kid. And then after that, their son would, take away his food and stuff. And so, with all the other stuff and then you have this child taking your food away, of course you can get very protective. And so he kind of like nipped at Logan a little bit, the son, and he had like maybe like a minor scratch. That's what they said, a minor scratch, like a minor little, it wasn't like a big bite or anything. So I'm trying to think like, okay, if they're saying that it wasn't a big bite, it was like some minor behavioral issue, then why did they have to put him down? Or why didn't they just rehome him?
Right.
Like I guess I don't understand the gymnastics that they're kind of doing to explain away this action. Does that make sense? Like they're
right. It's just it's a very
away, but it's not.
Yeah. It's a very heartless decision that they came up with, because like I agree with you. I think that they should have just rehomed the dog with to someone who don't want kids. And just, and then the dog can live out the life without feeling attacked. Like the kid bit his ear off or something. Like, come on, that's already abuse right there. You think the dog is gonna play nice? Like you have to let the dog kind of get comfortable with the kid, and also teach the kid to not freaking be so rough with the dog, right? Like, it goes both ways, but the dog didn't have to die. It's almost the same thing as like I don't know, just like
Harambe, Harambe,
yeah,
right? Like,
I wanted, yes, I wanted to say Harambe. I did read into the article a little bit more about that he did show signs of aggression to the kid.
mhm.
But I think I will still stick to my guns, whereas like the parents should have watched the kid, and how the hell did the kid get into his pen, like without, and then because of their actions, they had to kill Harambe. And that's what I don't like, is like he didn't have to die if someone wasn't careless, right?
I completely agree with you. Like, obviously, if Grudy got bitten by a dog or something, obviously I would be very upset because she's still my child. At
Of
the end of the
course.
day, though, from the moment she learned how to walk, I was so serious about this because we go on walks often. The moment
Yeah.
she learned how to walk, every time she sees a dog, I have taught
Yep.
her at the beginning that if you see a dog, you got to respect. Well,
Yep.
the conversation is you have to respect your furry friends. They're your friends.
Yes.
And so she's like,
Yes.
okay. So every time we go on walks and she sees a dog, she'll just stand there and go, hi, doggy, and
Yeah.
just stand there. And the dog,
Yes.
if it's friendly, it'll come up and sniff her and give her a big lick on the face, and she'll giggle and stuff.
Right.
And she will never reach out to pet the dog unless the parent goes, you can touch her. She's friendly.
Yeah.
If not, she stands there and let the dog sniffs.
Right, because you're teaching her boundaries, right?
Yes.
And dogs, animals of all kinds, they have boundaries. They don't like when someone just like who they don't know just all of a sudden invade their like space, and then they get scared or startled, and their first initial reaction is to bite, to fight back. So that's a natural animal instinct. If the animal doesn't feel threatened, they're not gonna bite. So
yeah, dogs, I mean, they are naturally kind of friendly. A lot of them would just come up and sniff and lick and whatever, but there are some that has gone through trauma, that has been abused, that don't like it when you raise your hands.
You don't know their history.
Yeah, and you want to be respectful of that. And so I always, I've always taught Grudy, I was like, you got to give your furry friends space. And we've never had problems with animals.
Good.
Even with, our cats now, I always, she feeds the cats and everything, but I never, like I tell her, you put the food down, you walk away, you could sit next to them, whatever, but don't put your hand in the bowl, don't move the bowl, don't whatever. If you want to play with them, finish eating, wave the little tassels and stuff, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, dogs, right, it's all about learned behavior, and it also a behavior that's learned can also be unlearned, but it means that the parents, like they just have to have the patience to teach the dog the behavior that they want to keep. You know what I mean? Like, so obviously there are dogs, they like, especially adopted dogs, you don't know what their history are. Like happen, what they've been through, and some of the things, like they could have aggression towards certain things, you don't know. But it's also just be patient and try to like say, hey, it's more consistency. It's like, like if they have foodball aggression, you like try to just over time, put your hand near it, or put your, like just slowly kind of inch your way so that they're comfortable with your business, comfortable with the hand. At some point you can actually feed the food into their mouth on the food bowl without them like biting you, right? But that all takes time. That all takes time for the dog to be comfortable. In no way do I think the appropriate way is to put the dog down because they've showed this kind of aggression. But they also knew the dog's history of why he showed those aggression.
Right? So why didn't they get training or therapy for the dog or something?
I'm so glad she didn't adopt that baby, because I think that she's gonna like, ruin the baby because I don't think she's great at parenting.
Yeah. Well, that's I mean, like, Bowser is the kind of dog that is very active, and they're kind of like, I don't want to say fighter dogs, but they're a little bit more like, rougher on in person, not rough, but I don't even want to say aggressive, but like, beefy.
They're excited.
Like,
they're very excited, stocky.
Stocky. That's like,
stocky. Like I'm right now, I'm like dog sitting a dog, and she's I think she's very young. She's like under a year old, and she's like very excited, right? And she's always grabbing leash. And it's just really annoying because like I'm sure that she's probably wanting to play, but if I'm like doing doing these long walks with her and she's grabbing the leash, it takes a while to get her like back on it. So I've been working with her with drop it, leave it, and also also letting her drop the leash, but like kind of leading her away from whatever her attention was, which was the leash, and keep her walking. And then as she walks, then I was like, good girl, give her the treat. You want to reward the behavior, the great behavior, with a treat, right? Like that's what we want. I did reward her when she says drop it, because I do want her to know drop it, but I don't want to reward her by her thinking that, oh, I'm gonna grab the leash, and then if I drop it, I'm gonna get a treat right after, right? It's all about that, like trying to like, okay, good, like even words of affirmation is still great too, right? Like it doesn't always have to be a treat. So I'll be like, good girl, and then keep walking, and then she walks, you give her a treat, and then she keeps walking a few more steps. She's great, keep continuing. It's all about consistency. And so these things, when you continue to create the same pattern over and over again, then it's like that's what then you'll create good behaviors that stick. You don't want to reward bad behaviors.
Ashley says, teaching kids and your own dog boundaries is key. We have 3 rescue dogs, Luna, Ava, and Theo. Ava does not like any new man coming into the house. We think that she was abused by a man. I had to train the food aggression out of her. It took time, but she is so much better now.
Yeah.
I do want to adopt a dog. I've been like looking. I was like, all right, let's see. Yeah, I'm like, let's see what other fur children I can take into my home and love.
I know.
But again, it's like, I mean, like, they've had histories with Bowser where they don't take him out on walks. They kind of create like an anxious environment where it's like they make such a big ruckus about him going towards the door because they don't want him to run out. And it's like dogs can sense these things, I feel like. And I just feel so okay, like, we lost our family dog last October, and like every time I talk about him, I just like every time I talk about my kids, like, it's because they're chosen family, right? So even if Plato, regardless if he's a dog, like if he was in human form, I would tell Rudy to not like hit him in the head. Like if he was a human. So why would I not teach her that with him as a dog? And luckily we had him too, so it kind of helped practice her with the whole, hey, keep boundaries and stuff with your furry siblings and stuff. So but like he was really sick, and it was like a really hard decision. Like I was on a 3-way call with my family, and we were just like, what do we do? Do we continue with him on life support and like have him pretty much suffer the rest of his life? And it was, we had like 2 vets that was there at the hospital kind of like consulting, us through the process. And but, oh gosh, I can't even talk about it because it makes me so sad. But like,
no, seriously, like I had to, same thing, like last year I had to say goodbye to Poindexter, my hedgehog, and
wait, what?
Like, didn't I thought I told you that.
No, you didn't tell me that.
I'm also like tearing up thinking about it, but it was a hard decision because he was losing mobility in his legs. Like, why am I crying?
Oh no!
I had to do a cry fest of this, and like he was losing mobility, and it was just like it was like sort of the quality of life.
You told me that like he was like really living for a really long time. I didn't know.
So it's like, I didn't want him to lose like keeping like, is the quality of life. If it's like, if he's still eating, if he's still, doing this, then I'll continue to take care of him. But he couldn't lift his body. Like hedgehogs go through like, it's called a wobbly hedgehog syndrome. And like hedgehog can't go through like certain what is it called? Like they have it, and so eventually they lost mobility in the legs, and then eventually it'll go up to like the neck. And at one point he couldn't support himself, his whole body to like. So so I had to make it because
Oh no, I didn't know.
I didn't want. Yeah, this is so terrible.
I know.
We're like crying over our babies.
Oh man, I didn't know. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's like.
Oh, because I saw pictures of him with your first cat. And
Yeah, you didn't read the caption. You just saw the pretty photos.
oh man. All right, this it got really sad.
It did get really sad.
Well, I am now gonna crack a joke to take away.
We're like, I thought
and
it was
that's
okay.
How you know we're friends.
I thought it was okay talking about him because I haven't cried about him in a while. And then just like, just remembering the process. So, yeah.
Let's see. Ashley says 4 years ago, my baby boy Ollie passed in the middle of the night. That was so hard. It was only 3. That was so hard. I'm so sorry. You guys had to go through that. Oh my goodness! In the middle of the.
To wake up to to that because they're your like there's no family. After all
they
those
are
years,
their chosen family. Yeah, their chosen family. That's why, like, when I saw the whole Nikki thing, and I was really, really like, it was. I felt offended, and normally I don't get offended by things, like I have opinions and emotions, but like I was just like, what? How? I just don't understand. Like, there's so many things you could do before you get to that point, like therapy, help, training, rehoming. I don't know. Like, if I could have puppy brother back for,
Yeah.
Oh, and yeah. I don't know. Just like that really, and the thing was, like, she said that, like, Bowser was really aggressive towards Logan, but the last photo she had was of Logan posing next to Bowser right before he had to go down. And I'm like, if he was that aggressive towards Logan, then why would you even have Logan near him like that?
I think all that was an excuse, honestly.
I mean, if you watch the video, you could tell Dan was like really upset and hurt, and he couldn't even make the video. But like Nikki, it seems like Nikki was kind of like the one that like.
That was his dog.
Yeah, I
don't have a good feeling about her.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she even said that, like, she had more kids, like, that would have been an issue, and I'm just,
I hope she doesn't have more kids, if that's the case. I really think, like, yeah, she's
home. I don't know. It's, I mean, like, it's not cheap to put down a dog either. That money could have easily gone to paying for like a couple of sessions of training. Like, some of the courses that I've seen here is like what $200 for a month worth, every 2 days, for like 8 days of training here where you just show up to the class and stuff. And it's like, you can always, that's like $200. I think putting a dog down with or without insurance could range anywhere from like $300 to like $700. So I don't know. It was a sad story, and I didn't feel like I've never had a good feeling about the way she vlogs, because I feel like the intentions behind the things that she does didn't feel authentic at times. But this really kind of like showed.
Cinched it. Yeah, I agree.
And even if she did do it right, she should have kept it off of Instagram, but instead she like had to post like photos of her hugging Bowser and saying goodbye to him and stuff and posting on Instagram. And then people are like, people are like, why would you do that? And then she decided to make a video to explain the whole thing. And I'm just like, I don't know. And I mean, I think her explanation was like, I'm a vlogger. I show the good and the bad, and this unfortunately is one of those like not so great moments. I'm like, what do you mean not so great moments? This is the death of a family member. Like, I agree. I don't understand the thought process of putting them down because they didn't do what you think they should. I don't understand the thought process of filming sad moments, vlogging, and putting your dog down like that right after it happened. I want to even be in the right
Right.
headspace for it. Yeah,
Like it took me 2 weeks to even post on Paytas' Instagram because like I just wasn't ready.
yeah, I don't think like in that moment to pick up a camera to like just and and it wasn't even just like vlogging, it was like a legit photo shoot. It was them like sitting there like posing with Bowser and like as like their final goodbyes. And
That's so messed up.
with mine, I had a camera because my brother was FaceTiming
Yeah.
us, and that was the extent of man, I don't know. Sometimes it's sad. And that's definitely the one push for me to go cruelty free. I was going through like the whole process of like switching out all of my products to be cruelty free,
Yeah.
but then like the whole Play-Doh thing happened, and it really, really
Yeah.
like.
I mean, just thinking like, and I'm so happy actually that there are now so many options of using a lot of cruelty-free products. I've definitely have like made that switch years ago. So like a lot of my stuff are cruelty-free. There are certain things that I still really haven't found like a replica of it. But
Mhm.
like the main thing that was exciting was, with CoverGirl, they definitely came out about 2 years ago or 3 years ago that they became cruelty free, which is a huge, makeup brand out there. So yeah, like I'm starting to use their stuff, but I'm very happy that that's the trend that's going around.
And it's actually pretty affordable too.
Very affordable,
Yeah,
yeah.
back in the day, cruelty free was so like expensive, but now it's way more affordable than a lot of like non cruelty products.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I'm still having problems with is my MAC foundation.
Yeah, I know.
I
That's
still
your
have,
true
yeah,
like holy
yeah, but
grail.
I only have like, so I have 1.5 bottles left, and
Yeah,
then, but I don't use it. I mean, I rarely wear makeup during the week anymore, but
right.
when I do the live streams, I don't wear the MAC foundation. I wear my Wet and Wild one, which
Yeah, yeah,
has
yeah.
been okay. I haven't had any reactions so far.
Yeah.
But I think it depends. Like there are some
I
days when it
still
would give me like a
yeah, I
weird
still
like smell. I don't know.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There's some like definitely like lower priced items do tend to have certain smells. I def The powder that I use, I believe it's a CoverGirl one. But then there's I also use is it LA Girl? I believe I used their powder before. I still have never gone on to like the foundation. Like I have some, but I don't use it on a day-to-day basis. It's just because
Mhm.
I feel like having to maybe it's also maybe it's laziness, like I just don't apply, it just takes too long. So I just use powder, like just powder. I guess it's called foundation because I just kind of like just brush it on me, but it's more just to even out your the coloring. But yeah,
Yeah, you have like perfect skin. So
well,
you have
yeah,
perfect.
well, I mean, that's definitely genetics, I would say. Like, I think my
Mhm.
mom went to a spa place, and I don't know, maybe we got it for her for like a gift, whatever. But so I think one of the facialists said that my mom had pretty good skin, and I was like, really? She's in her like 60s by then. So yeah, so I would account that for genetics. Because yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of my sisters. I don't think my siblings and I really have like a lot of any other problems with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's definitely fortunate for me because I am very lazy when it comes to applying makeup. So mine is just like powder, brows, blush, and then mascara. Done. I don't want to do anything more than that.
Well, I think like ever since I went dairy free, I've been able to wear less makeup as well
Good.
because it's like I'm not breaking out as much and my skin isn't as
Yeah.
like as oily as it used to be when I was
Yeah.
like drinking dairy or consuming dairy because
I
my
mean,
skin used to be so oily, like it was bad. It's still
really?
oily now, but it wasn't what it was before. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you saw the article of either, I forget which of the sisters, but either Venus or Serena Williams, like they become vegan, and I
Uh-huh.
thought it was due to skin problems that they had, and then since they started becoming vegan, like they've had no issues when it comes to skin.
Oh yeah.
So
Yep.
so I would definitely say that you know, apart from dairy, because of all the hormones and whatnot, it's definitely I say it's the hormones in meats as well. And like you yourself said that you have cut a lot of it, like just lessened a lot of what you eat. So which is great. But like yeah, I think that also helped with your skin too.
And even just cleaner meats, like there
Yes, yeah.
chicken, I am so like chicken is definitely one of those meat product that has a ton of
Oh
hormones in it.
no. Oh
Like
yeah.
I yeah, I don't.
Definitely. And
Um,
it's so sad because they said that the wings on chickens are actually the most hormonal part of it. I don't know why. But they said that, and I love the wing part. But anyways, I mean, obviously, I don't eat chicken anymore. But on one TikTok, it actually said something about like eggs. Like if you see a lot of like it says farm raised or was it farm raised, cage free, and all that stuff. Those are actually marketing gimmicks. It doesn't mean anything. It does like they don't really get that free range you're thinking about. It's actually pasteurized.
pasture
What did they
raised.
say?
Yeah,
Pasture
pasture
raised is actually,
raised.
yeah, that's the one that you want to look for, where you definitely know that they're not in cages and they're roaming free and things like that. Like I told you that I actually wanted to have a chicken coop. I don't have the space for one, but if I could, like I would totally have a chicken coop because I mean, you know, I don't mind having eggs. It's definitely I baked with baked goods that don't have eggs in it. I think it still tastes great, but I think it could be fluffier, obviously, but I don't miss it, you know. But yeah,
Yeah.
like to know that they're just, you know, like actually if you think about it, the chicken that actually hatches the eggs, those eggs are not fertilized, right? That
Yeah.
means
They're just
the chicken, yeah, they actually just had their period. You're eating the
yeah.
period that comes in
Yeah.
like the egg form. So yeah, that I thought that was a funny part, and it's coming out of their anus. I don't
Ew,
know. Oh,
really?
I thought so. Yeah, that's why they say you have to clean the eggs if you were going to, like, I had to hollow a couple of eggs for to dip Easter eggs, and they say not to put like if you were gonna put your mouth on the shell, you have to wash it because it came from their anus.
Are you sure? Or is it just like their lady hole that's really close to their butts?
You
Or
can
is it
double
just
check on.
or is it the same hole? I don't know. Oh gosh.
Yeah,
Ugh.
you can double check on that because I pretty sure that it could be, but I'm not 100%. And so yeah, so you have to wash all that, otherwise, or use a straw to, like, you know, push out the liquid. Did I gross you out yet? Do you want more
Well,
information? I have plenty more up my sleeves.
well, I don't know if I want to know the whole anatomy of an egg, but oh,
See? Yeah, you'll never look at the eggs the same
hmm.
way. Can I tell you? No, I'm kidding. I don't want to gross you guys out. If you guys really want to know where, like, I honestly think that people cannot put on blinders, like when it comes to their food. You really should know where your food is coming from, you know, because you're putting that into your body. You only have one
Yes.
body, okay? And so you really, if you can stomach, watch Earthlings. I haven't watched it yet. I'm sure I'm actually probably getting myself prepared for it, but watch Earthlings, and if you could stomach that and continue to eat meat, more power to you. But to me, I just feel like people should be more acknowledged, or just have a lot of knowledge over what food goes into their body, right?
Yeah.
Don't even think
Yeah.
about organic or whatever. It's your meat that you're consuming. You are not. If you think that you're getting the best meat ever, you're not. Okay, it's all marketing ploy.
Yeah.
I'm even I'm like, because there's that documentary about Seaspiracy. Like, I'm even actually very, 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 very close to cutting out a lot of the seafood that I eat. So
But I think at the end of the day, like, it's really important to like do the best that you can, right? Because it's
I wish I had two bodies. Split yourself in half, and then you could do so much more. But no, you got one body you need to take care of.
and it's just do the best that you can. Like, when you can make a good choice. Kind of like, remember when you were eating your Impossible sausage?
Yeah, and you thought you were eating
I was like,
sausage. You thought you were making great choices and not know it.
Yeah. And I was telling my barista that, and he just laughed. He was just like, I thought you knew. I'm like, I had no idea, my guy. And he's like, it's right there on the menu. I'm like, I do not read that. I just saw it said sausage.
You didn't connect. You didn't connect Impossible Burger to Impossible Sausage.
No, well, I didn't even know it was a brand. Yeah, I didn't know it was a brand. And I was telling him, I was like, I was really hungry. I ordered it, I ate it, and then I just knew that it was good. So I just kept ordering it and eating it. And then I saw my friend eat it, and I was just like, I'm pretty sure she's vegan. Like, why is she eating that? And she's like, it's the Impossible the sausage. I'm like, stop saying impossible as if it means something.
You're like, I don't know what it means. Sausage.
I don't know what that means. And you're like, it's faux sausage, KL. I'm like, then it clicked, and I was like, got it. Like, it took a very long
there, but that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah,
because you make great decisions without knowing.
It took way too long, and I was just like, okay, this is embarrassing.
It's okay. I mean, as long as you were making great decisions, like, I don't fault you for any of that. You know what I mean? Like, you thought you were eating, but like, what I was saying before too is like this. It shows clearly that you thought it was sausage, but it wasn't. So it just definitely, was able to imitate meat without, without having to kill. Without having to kill, a pig. They are just they're smarter than dogs, honestly. So there was the. Me too.
I want to get a pig. I know a lady. I know a lady.
You have to.
Yeah.
I want.
But I know a lady who has who takes care of like all these little pigs and stuff. She has like a little farm and stuff, and
they're so smart.
Yeah.
But in another live stream, I had mentioned about there was one documentary that actually took me, like, I completely cut off chicken and meat. Still ate fish, but it was vegetated. And then from there, like, obviously I kept watching Forks Over Knives and other documentaries that led up to it. I just haven't. There was also a YouTube called The Best Speech Ever by something, I forgot his name. But that was really, really good, because it's just the same thing. It's almost like, well, if you can watch the video and still continue to eat meat, then go ahead, but you should really, open up your eyes and stop putting blinders on and thinking that this doesn't concern you. This is still your body. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but Earthlings is something that I definitely want to watch, and I'm actually trying to convince Tony to watch it with me as well, because I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a tearjerker. I need to get some stock up on some tissues to watch it.
With Ashley, she's like, I wish we could have all the fake meats.
Yeah. Well, be careful though. They do have high sodium, so don't eat too much of it.
Yeah, and I do know that, like, we can have like mock meats and modified meats and have it done really well. I just feel like funding is not going into that research, because again, the farming industry is also very they can monetize it. It's very profitable. And then, I mean, we also still have like a poverty and like a hunger problem that's going on too, which we just have so many problems. And
I believe is the industry that doesn't want to solve that, because honestly, all like the grains and whatnot that we feed into the cows, that could actually, if we take that away and, like, lessen the amount of like cows that we raise for meat processing, it could actually feed the hunger. They have
Yeah.
the statistics around it. So, and the reason, and for me to believe that that hasn't ever happened is because the meat industry is just so much profitable to them. It's all about money. They just want the
Well,
money, and they don't care about, erasing hunger from.
it's the same with renewable energy, right? Like there's science, like there are things that actually could work, but because of the oil and gas industry, even though I live in
Yeah,
Texas, we're big in that. Um,
yeah,
there's still there's still ways to. And actually, I'm really happy to see that there's actually more solar panels that are going up around Texas and stuff now too. So people
yeah,
are being considerate of that. And I think as consumers, if we can financially support better food sources and energy sources and product sources, in turn, I think it would finally tell the big moguls to be like, okay, there's a want and a need, and we don't and a demand for this, so we will supply it, because there's no way you can reach into their pocket and mess with their pocket and for them to be like, all right, we're just going to do this because it's morally or ethically well intended. But I also am very compassionate to people who can't make good choices because of financial hindrances as well, So I try to be very like compassionate and careful with that. But I do think that if you have an extra few bucks today to buy a better source of meat or go vegan that day, I say go for it. And if you can't, tomorrow, that's okay too. But at least it's one less meal, right?
Yeah, totally. It's all about baby steps, honestly. Like it's a journey for everyone. And like if you think about it, meat is expensive even to buy like as part of your daily diet. So like having vegetables is a lot more, it's like a lot cheaper on your wallet than having meat. So so in the end, like if you want it, like, it doesn't, people have the misconception of eating healthy to be expensive, but it isn't expensive. Like fruits and vegetables are probably your like cheapest ticket item on your seat. You know what I mean? Like so, so yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know. It all starts with making the first choice, the first step, and then maybe doing it once a week. Then if things go well, then make it twice or three times a week. Like it goes from there. And I honestly will tell you that if you're such a meat eater, when you go off of it, your body feels 100% lighter. Like I just feel so much just lighter. Like I don't feel the grogginess of after eating. Like, how like after Thanksgiving you have the turkey, you feel so tired and whatnot. All that comes from the hormones that that's all that you're ingesting. And also your body, your stomach works a lot harder to have to digest that meat. Like it actually doesn't take long for your stomach to process fruits and vegetables. It goes through quickly. You also don't have to worry about constipation. Like I think that's a big thing too. Like some people, they have constipation. Like you eat less meat, you're gonna flow better. So yeah.
I think definitely.
Yeah, I agree.
For me, it has to be a red meat situation. Like I don't absorb iron well. So like even with iron supplements, I don't absorb it well. And I've tried like vegan forms and stuff. And there's one form of iron supplements that is not vegan. But it's the only thing that works for me. And if I take that, that's fine. Or I can supplement with like eating red meat, right? That is, and the thing is, like, I've never ever really liked red meat until I was like 24, 23, when I started to like really craving it. And I think that's just my body going, you need some like fresh iron in your body. And
have you thought, like, do you like eating vegetables?
I do. I mean, I love vegetables. Like it's literally, I would eat more vegetables and fruits than I would meat. So
okay. Because like I've gone every year, I get my annual physical. My calcium level is like off the charts. My iron's off the charts, and I don't eat any of like the meats, or I don't drink milk. You know what I mean? Like I don't do so. A lot of the like broccolis have high in calcium. Leafy green vegetables, which I always eat.
Well, it's because
That's
you can
like I can
absorb it, right?
process. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can absorb it. I don't
So
absorb it well, and so I have to
right.
have the easiest absorption type of
Yeah.
iron. It's harder for me to absorb it from like vegetables and even like in pill form. So,
Right.
and it's because of the platelet thing. That's all it is. It's
Oh,
like
right,
it's
right,
a platelet issue. Otherwise,
yeah.
honestly, like I don't, that's the only, like that's the biggest thing I feel when I don't have red meat like once a week,
Mm-hmm.
and I can
Mm-hmm.
feel it really hitting my body hard. And so I haven't been eating it like all of last week, but I forgot to take my iron supplements, and the depression and the lethargy kicked in so hard last week.
Yeah.
And then my iron pills came in like 3 days ago, and I took it, and I'm like, oh, I'm back. And it's like so, like I've never, and it's so weird. And I swear I kept thinking that maybe it's placebo, like maybe it's just me making an excuse to stay with red meat and like getting iron from like a red meat source. So I tested it multiple times. I'm like, okay, it's unfortunate that this is a physiology issue, and so like I will like acknowledge that, okay, this is what my body needs for me to survive, and I can make the choice of like not taking it. And don't get me wrong, like I feel guilty that I do take it sometimes, because I'm like, it's still bovine iron, and I feel guilty for taking it because I can, try to get that iron absorption from other things. But at the same time, I also know that like you can only be a sacrifice to certain causes for so much before it starts to be
Well, I mean, if
destructive,
it's yeah, especially if it's affecting your health and you feel for sure that
yeah.
no other iron supplements you're able to find. I mean, I think it's still nice to be able to still search. Like, hopefully there is a iron supplement out there made out of plants that would still give you the same thing.
Yeah.
You know.
I really wish so too, because there's like, it's just, I just don't break it down well, and it's so unfortunate. Like I would
It
take these
is.
pills, and like even still I have to go in and get my tests every month or 2 months, and it's still low, and it's like, it's really frustrating, and they're not cheap. They're like $50 a bottle. I'm like, okay, if it wasn't even like the whole physical stuff, it's the cost of it, because it's so expensive, like
Yeah.
if I can get iron from like broccoli, I would. And broccoli has a lot of iron too. And I'm like, I would totally just freaking eat a head of broccoli, because it's like it's actually, I like broccoli. And so, but like having to spend $50 on these pills, I'm like, it sucks.
How many milligrams are those pills?
Let me see. I have it right here.
Yeah.
3,000.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's supposed to be, well, it doesn't like say the actual amount of iron that's in it. Oh, 500 milligram of iron.
How many?
500?
500 milligrams of iron.
Yeah. So, yeah. And it's like stupidly expensive too, which like, but it works, and it's great. But at the same time,
you said you tried the plant-based iron and it didn't give you the same effect.
Yeah. So I tried the, what's the rainbow, is that called the rainbow brand? The one where they do like all vegan and organic, like vitamin supplements.
I don't know a lot of the brands.
And then there's like another one that is, it's kind of like just like a generic form, but because iron can come in like different levels. So like there's the one that is plant-based or sourced from plants, and there's one that's like sourced from like animals and stuff. And so I tried the plant-based one, and it just, I feel like my body just like pees it out. It doesn't do very much for me.
Okay.
And again, I literally thought it was placebo.
I wonder if it's like the fat or something that's keeping it in your body or something.
No, it's like literally blood. Like I'm literally a vampire, and I need to drink your blood.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna visit you like at all.
I am dead serious. Like I have come to the conclusion that it must be like a blood thing. Like I literally need to like drink red blood or something because there's the hemoglobin or whatever that's in it that like makes the iron more easy to break down. So now I'm thinking that I might just be a vampire. Which is
I don't. let's not go there. And
which is
it's kind of the
upsetting.
same thing with potassium. Extremely low potassium is crazy how much that can affect you. Yeah, like even when going to you have to be careful to make sure you have your B12, which comes from like a lot of the algae or things like that, as well as like all the other things that I think B12 is actually the only thing that they can't supplement. You can't use plants to supplement that, but
no, I thought you
not
can.
B12.
Wait, the Cyano brand has it's just weaker, but
no.
But it's
what I'm saying is that you can't get it naturally from plants. I
thought,
thought
you have to get it. Yeah.
They have to add it in, like what is it called? Nutritional yeast. It's like high in B12. So it's those things you have to like add to your food, but it doesn't. That's the only thing that doesn't come naturally from plants for you to like go ahead and take your body. But like you don't even think about B12, but apparently if you don't have that much of it, it messes with your mind. And B12 is from the algae that the fish eat. So the fish has the B12. Like that's what I'm saying. I don't know how but now that I'm thinking about it, like, well, why don't we just eat the algae? I have no idea. But it's something.
I think some people do for it, but they can't eat too much algae because it becomes toxic. Because there's another thing in it that makes it toxic. So like the amount that you can, the amount of algae that you can eat to get B12 will also cause toxicity because there's something else in the algae
that makes sense.
too. And I think that's probably why we don't just eat straight up algae.
Yeah. So like, I mean, you don't think about it, but like it definitely gives, if you don't have enough of it, like it's, it helps your brain function better. It's just one of those like vitamins that you definitely need in your body, and not a lot of people think about it. Like obviously for me, I also am very vitamin D deficient because I don't go out in the sun that much. I don't like to tan, so that's a supplement that I have to like take extra. I'm not very good at taking pills, so it's just like, keep in mind to make sure I have. But those are things that I will try to think about and try to like add to my diet. For me, it's just like the overall. I just want to make sure that I'm making good decisions. That's all.
I mean, it's a balance, right? Like I think one of I think like in 2015 and 16, there's a huge wave of like vegan YouTubers, but they were like super toxic vegan YouTubers where they're kind of like all carbs and like no fats or like or like
and there are different levels.
And then there was some that was kind of like and there was some that was like, oh, you might as well just like jump off a bridge if you still eat animals. I'm like, whoa, like calm down. Like there are levels.
I don't like to.
Spectrums.
There are different levels, different spectrums. You can be a very, very healthy vegan. You can be a very proactive vegan. You can be a junk food vegan. Like there are different levels. And just because there's a lot of mock meats out there doesn't mean like I don't obviously say like, oh yeah, eat all the mock meats and don't eat other meats. I think for me, the mock meats are there to help you transition better from a meat-based diet to a plant-based diet that is there if you have that craving. I don't always eat the meat all the time, so I don't always crave it. So for me, it's more about the vegetables, the vegetables I actually do enjoy. So those things like it's just to help. But like though the mock meats do have very high sodium in it, so you have to be careful. Just like any other food that you consume, any other packaged food you consume will have any amount of like sodium that you still have to be careful. I get low sodium for a lot of things. So yeah, like I just think it's just more about trying to make sure you make good choices,
Yeah, I mean, for yourself, for the environment, for the animals. It's just, I think we have a little bit more compassion for each other. I think, usually things will pan out well, and I don't know. Again, I'm still hopeful. I think Grudy's generation is going to be a much better generation than ours is. If I look back in like
I hope
history,
so.
yeah, no, I'm. If I look back in history of how like our parents were raised and how like Grudy's they are being raised, like it's definitely different conversations and stuff. And so it has to be better. Like honestly, like if generationally we suck every generation, like it just sounds so sad.
Yeah.
So, all right. I think we're going to save the Duggar stuff for next week because I think there's still things unfolding and it's still like, it's a dark topic. It's hard for me to, I don't know. That's a dark topic. So
yeah,
I'll ruminate on that one a little bit more and we'll see. But
yeah, I'm sure things are going to unfold for that, like you said. So we'll get all of that together. I feel like, I wish my body would accept being vegan without getting ill. Yeah, I think it's just more about also just finding what your body wants, like, and it's all trial and error. But little by little, like no one ever says that you have to be vegan overnight. Like obviously, I'm a flexitarian, so I'm not a total vegan. I just want to make sure I make great choices for my body. That's all. But yeah, I think we should talk about was it the Dugan you said his name?
Duggan next week.
The Duggar. So like that plus maybe like the camp that we wanted to talk about, but we kind of kept pushing the Dr. Phil.
Wait, what? Oh yeah.
The Dr. Phil one. So maybe we should combine those two together. I feel like that could be a good tie-in.
Yeah, I think so too. But you just remind me of my uncle because he is vegan, and someone was telling him that like, yeah, he's vegan, and someone was telling him like, I wish I was vegan, but I love cheese so much, and he's just like, well, then be vegan and still eat cheese. That's still better than like not.
You're vegetarian, but yeah.
Then then just still eat cheese. Like that's better than saying, oh, I can't let go of cheese, so therefore I'm still gonna eat everything. Like just. Baby steps. So it was the same with me going cruelty free. Like it was really hard at first. I was just like, I have to switch all of my products out. But then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start with a mascara. And then the mascara led to an eyeshadow and then an eyeliner and then my sunscreen, my face wash, my my body care and stuff.
Like there are plenty of vegans. Yeah, of course. It's a slow transition. There are plenty of vegans who still have their leather shoes, their leather bags, their leather whatever. Like those things had a cost to it, and like they could. I mean, you can still be vegan and still have those things, but to not buy new things, like that. Yeah. That's always a choice. And also, like if I were going to go more, like I haven't really bought a lot of designer items, honestly. But if I were to, like, I honestly wouldn't mind to do like second hand, like Poshmark, that sort of thing. Like, because I feel like that's not it's like you're getting it secondhand. It's like two people who have already bought the items. Like I'm still kind of grasping the concept and see if that makes sense. But if that's only if I really want that item so bad, like I would just buy it secondhand. Like, I don't want to buy it new because I know that those are like freshly new, leather that's just creating like new just killing more rounds of like cows and things like that. But yeah, like I think it's not about throwing everything that you've already put your money towards. Like it's more just about making future smart choices.
My body wants Cheetos. Mine too.
Go get those Cheetos.
The hot flaming Cheetos.
I do the triple X flaming Cheetos, and they're not always in the store. I have to eBay them. Like there was a time I had to eBay like triple X.
Oh my gosh!
Cheetos. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Let me send you a box because they're always
at my store.
Like
what?
The top, and they come in the black
Why
bag.
Do I
right?
never? Yeah. Why do I never see them around here?
Well, we're in the South, so it's like
hot
sauce everything. That's what I want to assume.
Yeah, bring it over.
Yeah, I'll send you a box of like.
Oh, thanks. Bad blood work. Oh.
Yeah, I'll send you a box of like triple X hot flaming Cheetos.
I know. Like at one point, I did eBay those things, and I was just like, "Why
are you serious?"
Get this in my store.
Oh,
well, I mean, that was like a while ago. Like I don't eat them as much too, because Is
I mean, salt
again,
and
salt
high in
content
salt, right?
is also but there's also milk in it. You know, I'm trying
Oh, there is?
to make
Okay.
well, it's cheese, so it's like
Wait,
trying to make
even the
good.
hot flaming ones?
I think so. I think
Oh.
so. It's ridiculous. I saw some Trader Joe's items that like there are some Trader Joe's items that are definitely like used to be vegan and then they start adding milk in it, and then to me it's almost like
Aw.
why
Oh, that's
change
sneaky.
something if it's not broken? Like
Yeah.
stop messing with the thing. Like for example, Funyuns, it should be like fried onions. Why did you need to put milk in it? Like
There's milk in
last time I was like,
Funyuns?
yeah, if you read the ingredients,
okay.
like you have to read the ingredients, but it's almost like why? You honestly
That
don't
doesn't
need
make any
it.
sense. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Okay.
Sense.
Well, you know, okay, I guess so. I guess so. All right, I guess we'll save the other topics for next week.
Yep.
We've been on for an hour and 40 minutes talking about random stuff that doesn't always tie into the stuff that we're supposed to talk about.
Why do we do this?
Okay. I don't know. We go on weird rants and tangents, and I think we're just trying to save the world, but we're just two ladies crafting here, one craft at a time, folks.
One craft at a time.
Oh my gosh. I gotta tell you this really quick before we end. So
What?
we were outside walking with Grudy and she saw the dandelions and she was just like, Mommy, I keep in my pocket. And so she puts it in her pocket and she goes home and she pulls it out and it was just the nub. And she was so sad. And I was just like, oh, like it. And then I was thinking about how I was thinking about how like we were trying to contain it and all that, and and then she just like, it was the saddest thing. She pulled it out. It was just the nub and like, yeah. All right.
Hilarious.
Let's see. I heard a ton of vegan use or buy purchase vintage leather, which I also really support and like. They use lactose to make flavoring stick better. Oh, okay. So it's like a glue. So it's like glue for the cheese powder. I know. That's funny.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll learn something new there. Interesting. All right, guys. We will send you guys off to another wonderful weekend and
bye,
go out there and seize the day and thrive. And we will see you next live stream.
Yep.
Bye.
Yeah.